Naseeba AlAli. Thank you so much for being with us. You're the Director of City Operations with Expo City.
The city was built with the vision of the future. We always looked at the future. We've always looked at basically what are we going to do next? What our aim is to be a city of its own. The beauty of our spaces are we actually can shift things around and change them with time. Because we are flexible enough, we can use multiple spaces together and actually form a whole sub-city, let's say, that actually has a whole different feel to it. We hosted COP recently. For the first time ever for COP, we have managed to have the green zone right next to the blue zone, managed to get the sustainability message to the public. A big part of sustainability is first actually trying to monitor things, because you need to know how much of energy you are consuming. We have like smart monitors that monitor all our energy. We were able to run COP off of solar panels that are coming from the solar panel park. Because we have multiple events, we have multiple events sometimes running at the same time. We look at it from beginning to an end, from the parking lot to reaching the venue to leaving the venue. After a concert finishes, when you leave, you're not going to get stuck for 3 hours. The whole region has really grown recently from an event perspective. With Dubai being the lead, we've always had this whole event element. It's part of our economy, it's part of our culture. People keep wanting to have an outlet. And events are an amazing outlet for everybody to actually come and be together.
Hello there and welcome to Eventful Arabia. This is the podcast that brings you behind the scenes in terms of what's happening with the event industry right across the Gulf. We're absolutely delighted that you've joined us. Now, I'm absolutely delighted that joining me here today is Naseeba AlAli. Thank you so much for being with us. You're the Director of City Operations with Expo City. Thanks again for being with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Now, Dubai is truly blessed to have something like Expo City. But for the few viewers that might not have been here, and that's yet, they might come and join us. Talk to us a little bit about, I suppose, the history of why we have Expo City, why it was built, and indeed, where has the journey been right up until now?
All right, so let's go back a bit in history. Expo 2020 was a successful event that we hosted. It was over 182 days. We had 200 countries and organizations that are participated and exhibited through the Expo. Part of them built, part of them were part of the fabric of the city itself. We had around 24.1 million visitors over the entire 6 months of the events. That was an amazing thing to host. So the city was built because of Expo. However, the city was built with the vision of the future rather than it was built just for the event. Because we had the event, we built the city. However, we never only looked at the event itself. We always looked at the future. We've always looked at basically what are we going to do next? And it was always part of our planning. It was always part of everything that we do.
And talk to me a little bit about what are you going to do next? What is the future there? I've been up there many times and I've been there actually on business to visit clients. I mean, so you have a huge commercial operation going on there. But talk to me a little bit about if one goes to Expo City now, what can one expect?
So right now, what our aim is to be a city of its own. So we need to become like a community of its own and a city of its own. And that's where we are right now. We have companies. We have the likes of Siemens Energy, who's actually has its headquarters in the city. That plan was actually hatched way before even Expo got formed. So all of these things that we have in the city is still going on, and we still have more things happening. We still host events. We've hosted Untold last year. We still have our own community events. We have restaurants that are open over there. We still have our own venues. We still have Terra open. We have Aleph open, and we have a lot of pavilions that are still operating there open. We're a community, and we still keep growing. We'll have our high-rises that will be apartments. And we'll have our villas that will be built and will become a whole-on community for Dubai.
It's very, very exciting. And you mentioned some events there about like Untold. So talk to me about the relevance of Expo City when it comes to actually the events, because you have some beautiful spaces.
Yes, we do. We have amazing spaces. And the beauty of our spaces are we actually can shift things around and change them with time. So things like Al-Wasl. So Al-Wasl Dome is an amazing feature that we have. Al-Wasl in the morning, it's like a garden. It has its own shaded area that basically is comfortable to sit in. You can relax and you can have a coffee with Al-Wasl. We have Al-Wasl Cafe right now. While at night, it can turn into like an amazing feat of basically projections and you can host concerts, you can host talks over there. It's an amazing venue that we have. We have other areas around the site that we use. We have the Connect Conference Center, which is C3. It competes right now in the mid-size conference place. So the idea is basically you still need areas that you can do conferences in that are shaded and that are actually indoors. That venue as well has an outdoor plaza and it has like a VIP space. So there's a lot of spaces that we can use. It's not only spaces that we work towards. It's like with festivals and with other events. Sometimes you just need a bigger area. And because we are flexible enough, we can use multiple spaces together and actually form a whole sub-city, let's say, that actually has a whole different feel to it, which is what we do with our internal events as well.
And that the conference center is really great. It's a wonderful size. As you say, it's not the mega, but so many. It's a a very, very good size. And I've been at a few very, very good conferences there. And I think actually even going there, it's quite a buzz about it to do a serious government type conference and international type conference, which you've been managing to hold very well. Give us a feel for, I suppose, regional events. And, what traction there is with regional events and international events, because you're managing to actually attract both.
Yes. So there are a few things that we're doing regionally, things like sporting events. So we've hosted Dubai Marathon at some point, and because we're a little bit away from the city, so we don't disrupt the city as much when it comes to the actual runners. So we've hosted Dubai Marathon at a point, and it was really lovely to see all the runners, honestly, around the site. It was amazing. We've also hosted with Dubai Culture. We've hosted Dhai Dubai, which is a light festival within the city. We always have Winter Festival, which is the Christmas, and we always have Hay Ramadan, which is our Ramadan cultural event. So we always run these events that are more cultural based and like closer to people's hearts. And because eventually we're going to be a community when hopefully the residents come, we always want to keep that residential community base with us to keep them just entertained, and keep people like with a whole sense of community. And it's very nice to see people huddle around the Christmas tree and in Ramadan having iftar at the table. It's amazing to see that in the city all the time. From that's like from the regional event perspective. Like international wise, we hosted COP recently. And COP was an amazing.
Probably one of the biggest international events. Of course,
it was.
It brought everyone to the world, and people, I think, were talking about what an incredible venue, how different it was. I mean, it was a spectacular venue to have, really.
It was. For the first time ever for COP, we had managed to have the green zone right next to the blue zone, and the green zone, for people who don't know, is a free entry for everybody. So it's not only for the participants of COP. So you manage to get the sustainability message to the public rather than, just that set people who just mean to go for meetings or negotiations. So you bring sustainability to people and you make sure it's engaging and nice and everybody can actually be part of it rather than other things. We managed to get that done, and that's because of how the site is. That's because of how big is it, and because you can actually adapt it very well.
Really, and I mean, I do remember even the dignitaries from the blue zone often came into the green zone, whereby in other cities that have held a COP28 particularly, I think almost had that sense of mingling because it was right on site. I mean, it's incredible. Sustainability, I know, was at the very, very heart of everything Expo City did back from the time that it opened its doors first on Expo. Talk to me a little bit about how that sustainability drives the city, really, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. A big part of sustainability is first actually trying to monitor things, because you need to know how much of energy you are consuming. We have like smart monitors that monitor all our energy, and we keep at it. Even like from Expo time until now, we keep at actually how much energy am I consuming? What can I do to make this better? And it's an ongoing effort that we keep doing. We are hoping to get to net zero by 2050. And at this point, we are trying to monitor everything we're doing, adjust and help us keep going. We are actually, for COP itself, we were able to run COP off of solar panels that are coming from the solar panel park, which was an amazing thing to do. So we got it off the grid from DIWA, which was an amazing to do, and we were able to do that, and that's an amazing achievement. We have our own solar panels, but then that required a little bit more of energy. Our buildings are LEED certified. We still have 123 buildings that are LEED certified from the Expo times, and we keep trying to get more certification, keep getting a bit more in the sustainability venue. Our sustainability team are amazing and it's a continued effort.
And even I think the greenery and the plants and everything, they've really been thought through in terms of energy conservation and water conservation. And I had time to look over some of them. And you had an incredible gardener, I believe, many gardeners.
Yes.
Designer gardeners on board to actually look after that.
True. We all of our plants are actually regional plants. So you don't have to actually give them a lot of water. You don't have to, the maintenance element of them become less. So that's all part and parcel of trying to keep it all more sustainable. Our gardeners are amazing. They've always been.
Now, of course, stay with this for a moment, because when we think about the design of the entire venue, you know, the accessibility, the location, the infrastructure that drives us, you know, you talked about the adaptability, the flexibility, all of that. I mean, it does come down, I would think, to great planning, great design from the very beginning. But it does seem to all work in great harmony, really, doesn't it?
Yes.
Is it that easy reality on the day, in the action?
In action, well, we have a great team. Let's say that. I mean, in reality, putting things together, it just comes down to planning and pre-planning, and everybody basically, part of our element from operations department as well, myself, is that whenever any event comes on board, and whenever we plan anything per se, we are part and parcel of the planning element of that company, whoever is planning that event, whether it's international, whether it's regional, whether it's in concert and we've hired the space for them, or whether we are running it ourselves. We always help, because we know that the success of us and them together is always a joint success for all of us. So it's one parcel of basically trying to make it all work. If somebody comes new to your venue, you always need to help them with everything, and we are kind of the best subject matter experts to do it. We have a great team to do that. So yeah, it becomes a bit simpler than we think. From a sustainability perspective, there are elements that we actually try and get. I'm not going to say. Basically, we're going to try and get done, like consumables and how do we treat them. So a lot of these elements, we basically use biodegradable elements, and all of our restaurants on site actually use those. From an event perspective, it's the same thing. So we look at an event from beginning to end. From a build perspective, and the element of the build itself has to be sustainable rather than unsustainable. The element of the breakdown has to be sustainable. We did great at that in the Union Day event as well. They were able to recycle a lot of elements. They were able to use materials that were regional and not international. So a lot of these things, kudos to the Union Day team, Union Day 52. It was an amazing effort that they went through.
I mean, that's wonderful to hear that. But all of this too, and the likes of that have earned you awards and have earned many of the people, the tenants that have come in to actually deliver great events. I mean, congratulations on that. But talk to me a little bit about, I suppose, the value of these awards and, in a way, the status it gives you all.
Yeah, I mean, awards itself it prides ourselves in actually doing it the right way, and it kind of makes us look at what's next. How do you get better? How do you get how do you get to be the best? I mean, winning the award in itself actually makes you look a little bit deeper into it, to look at the details of every single little things, and then you'll figure out where do you need to improve more. It is a continuous effort in my perspective, because these things you'll have to keep at it. It's not the fact that you won a single award at a single year and then the next year what's going to happen and the next year what's going to happen. It is a continuous effort, and that's what we need to keep going, and that's what we need to basically make sure that keeps happening and we keep improving.
And then improving and innovation, I suppose that's the name of the game. Now, coming from a strong tech background yourself, I mean, you must be so happy to be there, because it is an area that's using a lot of advanced technology, new innovations to drive everything, even like measuring the water and various things like that. Talk to me about how that technology has been rolled out and the advantage that it really has been to deliver a functioning city like this.
Yeah. So technology is at the heart of Expo City. We've always looked at ourselves at the innovation venue. We have a lot of things that probably not very visible which is how technology needs to be. It does not need to be visible. It needs to be in the background, and it needs to enable people to do their jobs. We have a lot of things in the background. We monitor everything with smart sensors. If something breaks down, a sensor will tell it, rather than we need to find out that something breaks. We have sensors around water consumptions. We have sensor around, obviously, energy consumptions. We can find out why is energy consumed in a certain place, and how do we do and how do we fix it. There's other elements of that when it comes to crowd control from an event perspective, because you need to be able to do crowd monitoring and crowd management. So there's always these elements as well. But again, all of these might not be visible for the visitors. However, it is what makes their journey better, and it is what makes their journey easier.
I can just imagine, because it looks flawless when you arrive and everything moves very smoothly. And it's all about giving the customer a very pleasant experience. And as you say, technology ticking away in the background that's keeping us safe and making sure that everything runs efficiently. When we look at this region, there's a lot of new venues coming up. I mean, yes, without a doubt, Expo is very special. But talk to me a bit perhaps about the challenges that may come your way, because there's a lot of competition out there from venues. So how can you make Expo shine? How do you keep it relevant still and in the future? All
right. So we've talked about flexibility, being able to open places up and all of that. One of the main challenges, and I feel because we are a bit of an outdoor venue, it is the mobility within the site itself and the ability to reach your final destination when you need to. It is hot. It is the summer now, so we kind of feel it a little bit more. You've visited recently, so you must have noticed that the parkings have come closer. So right now we actually can reach where we need to reach to in a shorter period of time.
I'm still waiting for the air-conditioned buggy, but I might be a while waiting for that.
Yeah. We still have buggies around site, though, that's a good point.
It's very efficient.
Yes, it is very efficient, and we always have buggies around site to help people move around. Apart from buggies, and because we are trying to be a little bit more efficient, we have bicycles and we have scooters around site. They're smart mobility hubs all around site, and you'll be surprised. I still see people riding around in their scooters and their buggies, especially early in the mornings. You still see residents of Rove Hotel, which are inside the site, coming down with their children and actually riding a bicycle during the day. So it does help become a community, more or less.
It's true. We won't let the summers defeat us in
No,
this
we
region.
won't.
No.
We never do.
Yeah, and we forget other regions in the world are equally as hot in the summer,
Yeah.
but for some reason the focus comes here. But, are you getting a lot of inquiries still when we look at, it as an event, as a venue?
Yeah.
In terms of you're looking at your books for next year and there's plenty going on, is there?
There are plenty of events going on. We are going to host Untold next year as well. We're going to host a Green Day concert, a rock concert next year. So we still have we have a few things along the line. Watch the space and keep watching Expo City's Instagram page. I think it'll get you the most updated events. But yeah, we always host events all around the city. We have school programs always. So we have either summer camp that's running right now in the city. We always have school visits to Terra and Elif, because Terra is always nice from a sustainability perspective to come and educate the children, while Elif has an amazing look and feel, and it teaches you a lot about mobility. And the kids love it. The kids come and they visit the pavilions and they do workshops and they do events and they do their own thing. It's always nice to see the kids around the site.
And of course, we have to look at the event space here in the region as not just the big mega commercial events. It is about events for children. It's about community events. It's about just a non-stop event agenda.
Yeah.
And in different venues, which is just so fabulous because we have that choice.
Yeah, so just touching on that point, so again, maybe the other thing that we have as a city, because we have multiple events sometimes running at the same time. So you could have a school project at this point, and then I have a concert at the other day, later on in the day. So it's the part of our planning element is actually to be able to make sure that doesn't clash. And you could also have a dignitary coming and visiting, and you're making sure that route of that dignitary doesn't clash with something else happening in the city. During Untold of last year, there was a wedding in Dubai Exhibition Center. So that was one of the other things that we had to make sure that does not clash, because both are actually night events. So we needed to make sure that they all run, and they all ran very smoothly without any actual interactions in between them. Any clashes in between them did not affect anything from any perspective. We look at it from beginning to an end, from the parking lot to reaching the venue to leaving the venue. It's a whole journey rather than it's one thing.
And of course, the infrastructure that's there already is even enhanced more with, as you said, lots of different parking lots.
Yes.
And the availability of public transport, whereby people can just hop in, particularly in Dubai, any of the metro stops and head right almost to the door. The door. It
is to the door. We have a dedicated metro station in the city. It's very close. You can just come in right away. It's an amazing thing to have. And I mean, our RTA was really great at doing that for Expo, but we inherited that, and that's an amazing thing. We have a lot of parking close by. We generally try and guide people to park where it is closer to the event. So we always post that out with each event and with each concert that happens. That usually helps. We do look at it from a outside venue of people will want to know how to go to. It's a little bit further away from the city, so they need to get there. We also, for any of the bigger events that goes on at night, for the concerts, we get RTA to supply with taxis. So we manage to actually get people back home safely, in case need be, if they stay for longer at night. So there's a lot of things that we can do and help out. And one of the major, honestly, amazing things that we have is our parkings are really spread out. So we don't really cause any congestion. So after a concert finishes, when you leave, you're not going to get stuck for 3 hours.
And all of these things are so important.
Yeah.
I mean, the planning that goes into that, and the fact that the ease of access makes a venue, for any event so attractive.
Yeah.
It really, really does, without a doubt. The final question we always like to ask our guests here is, when we look ahead, I mean, you're clearly enthusiastic and excited about the events sector here and the events that, of course, will come to Expo particularly. But 5 to 10 years out, when you look at Dubai and I think find the possibilities that we'll see at Expo, is this not just Dubai, but the whole region? Because I see growth right across the Gulf region across the GCC. Talk to me a little bit about how optimistic and what do you think is happening as we look to the next 5-10 years?
The whole region has really grown recently from an event perspective. I mean, with Dubai being the lead, we've always had this whole event element. It's part of our economy, it's part of our culture, it's part of everything that we do over here. And the whole region has, as I feel, followed suit. Like we have events in Saudi, you have events in Qatar. The whole region has followed suit. We still are a major player in the market, and we still bring a lot of people. I think it's going to grow more and more. The people keep wanting to have an outlet, and events are an amazing outlet for everybody to actually come and be together. The growth of this region is amazing, and I do believe with more people coming in and the population increasing within the countries and within the cities and the region growth, it is very regionally allows the everybody to actually work better and just bring more talent into the country.
And indeed, lots to look forward to, I think. And again, lots to be hopeful and optimistic about as we look at the event business here. Thank you so much, Naseeba AlAli. Thanks for being with us. And thanks for bringing us the story of Expo City, the great events that are going on there. And of course, the great events that are yet to come. So we hope you'll have plenty on the menu, so to speak, from now until the end of the year. We'll look forward to coming out and joining you.
Thank you so much. Please join us, all of you. It's an amazing place.
It is indeed, for anyone who hasn't been there, where events are happening, definitely at Expo. Yes. And you've heard it here at Eventful Arabia. Stay tuned.